Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So this week's match is going to involve a purple-yellow Mastimon build, which is what we're going to showcase today, as well as the video that I had earlier this week with Imperialdramon Rush. These two decks are going to go head-to-head, and I want to go ahead and break down both decks for you beforehand so you kind of know what's involved in the decks. I feel like they're a pretty good matchup with each other. With the yellow inside the Mastimon deck, it has some good recovery to it, whereas the Rush deck, I mean, they're really fast. They can clear a lot of security, so a deck that can get a lot of recovery is a good matchup against any kind of Rush strategy. So that's kind of why we threw these two ideas together. So let's go ahead and get into this. Also, don't forget this month's memory marker is Upamon. So if you're going to be playing yellow or playing blue using your Upamon babies, definitely get in on these. It's a really popular egg right now. So why not just have a memory marker that matches it, These are handmade by my wife out of clay. So check the link in the description below for the Patreon for those. So go ahead and jump in right in here, though. We've got, for our eggs, I went with the Demi-Meramon. So generally the idea is you're going to discard some stuff to the trash, so that way Mastimon has a nice pick of what it wants to bring out. And Demi-Meramon is just kind of a good way to set up our trash by allowing us to draw, and then whatever is the least relevant of our hand, go ahead and trash it. The Pagumon, kind of the same general lines here if we're just trying to fill up trash, and I thought this was a good one-off. If you're really wanting the 5 eggs because you're digivolving a whole lot, just as a 5th option, Pagumon felt pretty on par because you should at least, in theory, get to trigger this once, which means you'll have at least 1 card in trash, which is about on par with the Demi-Meramon is doing. It on deletion effect, right? So you're getting 1 card into trash, whereas the Pagumon is kind of doing the same thing. You're getting 1 card into trash. Potentially more. There is potential for more if you can get multiple swings off of it, but in general, in case it dies, like in security or whatever, that's why he's the 1 of, and Demi-Mera is the 4 of, because we'd prefer to draw that 1 card first to see if it's good or not. Alright, next up we got the Tapirmon. Love Tapirmon. On deletion, trigger, draw 1. Just incredible. It's really good. It's a nice low DP, so it should die pretty much anything. Very few things in this game does it not die to, Digimon-wise at least. So yeah, just anytime we can draw. Purple is formidable. When it comes to drawing, Purple has the whole game just locked down on best drawing power. So generally, your ratios in Purple can be a little more skewed compared to other colors just because of its pure, insane draw power. Sure, it does a lot of discarding as well, but it's always drawing into its exact pieces that it needs and then just trashing the irrelevant stuff. So you can get some pretty janky numbers when it comes to Purple. Next up, we've got Labramon as one of our on-plays here. Just on-play, trigger, draw 1, then trash 1. Same kind of whole concept that we're talking about with the Demi-Meramon. We're just trying to draw into what's relevant. And play cost of 3 for a draw 1, that's pretty standard. I mean, looking at Gabumon at blue, we're right there on par with 1,000 more DP. Yeah, we're going strong. Alright, and so again, at a 4 of here, just on, love maxing out on any kind of draw power potential, especially on rookies, because rookies are so cheap anyways. Next up, I've got the Gazimon at 2. Right now, in our current meta, and picking up set after set after set, we're going to see a whole lot more just abilities to gain memory outside of Tamers. So being able to start including pretty much in every deck you build moving forward, some way to stop that from happening is pretty important. Right now, yellow is by far the most popular deck, so being able to turn off their Blinding Ray is very important. You do not want them gaining 2 memory on you. If they have 0 security, they could just spam out several of Blinding Rays at once, and that is nasty. Could you imagine your opponent just getting 8 free memory? Ugh. Yeah, that's a nightmare to think about. So yeah, Gazimon, just at a 2 of, just depending on what your matchup is, you know, just throw him out there on the field and just leave him sitting in the corner, just doing his thing. Shuts down a lot of decks. A lot of decks have a lot of memory gaining now, and it's just going to get worse as each set comes out. So you're going to see a lot of memory blockers coming. And then also I went with the 2 Gabumon just to kind of round out our purple rookies a little bit. I did have the 10 in there, but I thought maybe I felt like I wanted the 12 just because we are playing, I believe, 8 champions. So I wanted the 12 rookies for the 8 champions to go with. But if you want to go with just the 10, go for it. But again, more just draw 2, discard 1. I mean, that's really good also. Just same with pretty much everything else we got going on up here. Just, you know, drawing and then getting rid of what's not relevant and keeping the very good stuff that you desperately need. Alright, now we're going to look at our yellow stuff. So, the Salamon here is just, this is an incredible card. It doesn't matter really what deck you're playing. Anytime you can just recover 1 relatively easily. It does have a bit of a steep play cost of 4. Not exactly ideal, but things like Mastimon can bring it out and you can get it for free. So, that's pretty solid. You know, a 4 of, you're guaranteed to definitely see it in a game. And you'll definitely should get your value off of it. You can always discard it if you need to, or if if it desperate times, you can play it as well. Just get that recovery, which we like. Also, I went with the level 4 Gatomon. So this deck, I mean, this card works great in this deck, honestly. Okay, so I actually kind of wanted to talk about both Gatomons here. I ended up just putting all the 1 in here. So I really kind of like both of these Gatomons, really, because they both work great with purple. One is a play cost of 5 with the on-play effect of if you have a purple Digimon in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. I mean, that's just a great way to kill, you know, generally most rookies. It's a good just rookie stomp. As well as, you know, it's good to kind of go for a little bit of extra aggro there. It's an interesting choice, but I also like this one as well, though. Opponent's turn, while you have a purple Digimon in play, this Digimon gains blocker. This is mainly a purple deck, so you're going to get a lot of like value out of this. Just getting another free blocker. It's a 5k blocker. That's pretty standard. 6 play cost. I mean, this right here is on par with the same stats as all the new 1 cost evolution blockers, so that's pretty great. Typically you don't want to play those costs, but look at this. On play, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recovery plus 1. I'm actually super incredibly shocked that nobody is really playing this card. Because, I mean, think back to McDonald's, right? People were loving the on-play 7 for Magna Angemon, but no one was playing this Gatomon, and I think this is a great card, honestly. On-play, recovery 1, that's still solid. Just awesome. And then in this deck particularly is once it's on field, it's not just completely useless like Magna Angemon was, because you also gain blocker. That's really, really awesome, honestly. Just really fits in this deck really, really well. Also, of course, we've got the Lucymons in here. It is a bit steep, but in purple, Lucymon really fits this deck. It fits it really well just because we trash so much into our trash that being able to trigger its cheaper play cost. I mean, play cost of 5? Yeah, play cost of 5 for recovery 1 for a 10k body just to start smashing face with? Yeah, what's not to love about Lucymon? It is a very good card, being just kind of splashed around in a lot of decks. Its effect keeps you from digivolving on top of it anyways, so it's not like it's doing any deck in particular good. It's not doing yellow really any good, right? Other than just its normal recovery plus 1. Yeah, sure, yellow can cheek it out a little bit easier than other decks can, but even in this one, you can either on-play it for 5 to get that recovery, or trash it and use Mastimon to bring it out, and then Mastimon will get the Lucymon effect to trigger as well. So, yeah, loving the Lucymon. Really fits in this deck really well. Wizardmon. I had to throw Wizardmon. I don't care if it's not optimal or some crap. Any chance that I can play Wizardmon with Gatomon and, with some yellow cards, yeah, I saw the opportunity and I snatched it for sure. play cost of 4 for level 4 is really good. I mean, that's not bad at all. 2 cost evolution is pretty standard. All turns, if you have a yellow Digimon in play, this Digimon gains retaliation. So right there, he is literally on par with the regular Devimon, okay? 2 cost evolution with retaliation, okay? I mean, essentially you're looking at Devimon right there. It's relatively easy to get another yellow on. We have several in the deck that we don't mind putting out on the field. But a play cost of 4 is really, really, really awesome. For anything with a retaliation, a play cost of 4, yeah, I'm all about it. But not only that, but on deletion trigger, draw 1. Just more draw power. Literally, you don't even need this draw 1, and I would still want to play this card. Having that extra bit is just, I mean, that's the cherry on top, really. It's already an amazing card, and then you just make it even better. So, loving Wizardmon in this. I mean, what a classic lineup there. You know, the Gatomon and Wizardmon in the same deck. Really haven't had the opportunity to build a deck where you could do something like this until now. So, definitely happier for it. Next up, we've got the new blocker here, the Devimon. We already talked about it. 1 cost evolution on a level 4 is just... I mean, that is, you know, the creme de la creme right there. 1 cost evolution. And a blocker, heck yes. I'm all about it. 5k DP, I mean, that's pretty solid. You're stopping most rookies in the game. Just your opponent can't get any, like, cheeky just hits in, right? You don't want them just to being able to swing with a Tapirmon to get a free security check and to draw a card. Yeah, no thanks. Devimon just shuts down plays like that all the time. Also, Vmon with his jamming. Yeah, nope. You throw out Devimon there, and they're not even going to go for it. So, yeah, all about it. Also, against green, if they're trying their OTK bullcrap, just throw down a Devimon just in case, because either they have to use like a Digiburst to suspend your Devimon, which in turn nets you advantage, or they have to just crash into the Devimon so you can block that big Grand Kuwagamon 3 security check, right, with a little Devimon. So, yeah, you got to have some blockers, okay? Also, with Imperigamon being really popular right now, it did really well in the PPG last weekend, and naturally, everyone is all of a sudden chomping at the bit to play that deck. So, you're going to want some blockers. So, the Gatomon and the Devimon here teaming up. That's why I didn't go with the Vilemon. If you notice, these are our only 2 level 4s. I didn't go with the Vilemon for even more blocker, just because we had the Gatomon anyways. So, yeah, pretty solid there. Next up, into our level 5s. So we only have the 8 level 4 purples. I'm okay with that. I just don't want to go too crazy on the level 5 purples. Our only Mega is going to be Mastimon. So at a 4 of, you just got to keep that in mind. At a 4 of, we need at least 4 to 6 level 5s, preferably 6 level 5s. If I got 6 level 5s, I should at least have 8 level 4s, is my thought process. We have the Lady Devimon here, which is a 3 evolution cost. That's pretty standard for level 5s. Not the best, but not terrible. But when Digivolving, draw 2, then trash 2 cards in your hand. Remember also, when you Digivolve, that's another card you draw. So that's 3 draws, 2 trashes. As Mario put in his video, everyone, he said the magic words. You're playing, what was it? Graceful Charity at 4 copies in a deck. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players lost their minds, and then just everyone had to have Lady Devimon. So, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just throwing our damn markets off again. I'm coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, but, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's incredible. Draw 3, discard 2. That is very, very powerful. You can really draw into what's important in your deck with Lady Devimon. Also, once per turn, when you use an option card, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. Not a bad inheritable if you can get this underneath Mastimon. We do have a couple options in here that can trigger this very easily for pretty cheap. So yeah, that's awesome inheritable. We would prefer to Digivolve on top of the Lady Devimon for sure, just to get this inheritable. Our other level 5 here is the Skull Marimon. I haven't met a 3 of. I thought about playing it a 2 of, but then afterwards I had some extra room in my deck. If you notice, we're at 49 out of 50 cards. There's still room for one more card. I went ahead and bumped the Skull Marimon up from 2 to 3, and just because the play cost of 5 isn't the worst, okay? Like I said, we're kind of limited on level 4s here, so with the level 5s, I went with 4 that we would absolutely prefer to Digivolve with, and then some more that if we can't Digivolve, we don't feel too bad about hard playing them because they're relatively cheap. Anyone that's been playing level 5s that are the 5 play cost, you've been there. I know you have, where you just, the Monzemon turn 1 dropped on field. I know you've done it. I've done it. I've done it several times. Since 1.0, yeah, dropping Monzemon for 5. So Skull Marimon's same exact premise here on this one. And then Mastimon, what the whole deck is themed around. The waifu over 9,000 right here. Yeah, just really good stuff here is going on. So 4 cost evolution, not the best. I'll be honest, not 4 evolution is pretty steep. But the effect is really good at the same time, so it's not all that bad. When Digivolving, trash 1 card from the top of both players' security stacks. So trashing your own security is like kind of terrifying, but that's why we play so much yellow stuff, because all of our yellow stuff gives us recovery. The Lucimon, recovery 1. The Gatomon, recovery 1. The Salamon, recovery 1. So we're getting all of our yellow stuff is giving us recovery. So using cards like Mastimon that hurt us, in turn also hurt our opponent, it's not so bad because we can just get that back really easily. Possibly even immediately, because then play 1 purple or yellow Digimon card with a level of 4 or less from your trash without paying its memory cost. So if we look, see what we got here. Lucimon, say you discarded the Lucimon or you played it already and it died, you can bring back this Lucimon, instant recovery. You have the Gatomon in trash, and your Mastimon just puts you in range of being able to get its effect. Boom, bring out Gatomon. Now you got the recovery. You know, if you don't have either of those, you can always bring back the Salamon and swing with the Salamon in the following up turn to get your recovery back. Or just play any of your other stuff here. We have Devimon, a blocker. Okay, we have Wizardmon, who is potentially retaliation and drawing. You have, I would not mind playing any of these. Any of these guys right here are incredible. That's 5 right there, as well as our other rookies. You know, on play, Labramon, draw 1. That's not too bad there. Tapirmon, a little bit build up. You know, you got to swing with it. Gabumon, probably the weakest. Gabumon right here is the weakest, just because you have to Digivolve something on top of it to actually get value out of it. Gazimon, you know, if you're trying to, again, shut down your opponent, you can always throw out that Gazimon. The Mastimon plays are really good, okay? Like I said, I don't mind choosing any of those. Any of those are great targets for Mastimon. So while, yeah, 4 cost evolution is a little bit steep, at the same time, we're just going to get so much crazy value out of that bringing something back. So great stuff there. Again, though, I prefer the on-play effects, just because if you can get something like a Lucimon to get that instant value, I don't want something that I have to, because I'm probably passing my turn with this Mastimon, let's be honest. I don't want something that I have to wait for my turn to come back to get value off of. So basically any of this stuff here where I have to swing with it and attack, that's not exactly ideal. But Gatomon with the blocker and the recovery, Lucimon with the recovery, yeah, just so much good stuff. Alright, next up, we got the mat. I went with the 3 mat just because I've really just kind of grown attached to Memory Fixer Tamers. Just every set, I'm just like, I see more and more value out of having these Memory Fixers. Now, do I wish I had a Digimon that could Digivolve on top of this mat? You better believe I do. Unfortunately, not thankfully, unfortunately, we do not have that yet, so we have to just stick it out. But that on play, just grab something back, a purple Digimon or a purple option card. I mean, we've got plenty of stuff to choose from for sure. So Matt can just get us value right back. You play him, instant replaces himself in the hand with something just as good, if not better. And then you have a memory fixer. That's why I have him as a 3-up, because I prefer to actually get him kind of early. You don't want to play him turn 1 in purple because you need something in trash first. But definitely turn 2, turn 3, playing a Matt, and then you have that value for the whole rest of the game. There's plenty of stuff that's all 3 evolution cost or less, or play cost in this deck that we can still get value off of by doing something else afterwards. So memory fixers all the way. Next up is a new card to the game, and that's Deathclaw. It comes out of the starter deck. Main, you may delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. And then security, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So the security effect is really, really nice. But also, you're probably wondering why I'm playing this, right? So let me kind of break it down of the importance of this. 1 play cost is pretty cheap. I mean, you combine that with a Lady Devimon inheritable, and you're popping 2 things right now, and that's great off of 1 memory for that. But delete one of your own. So we're trying to trigger our own on deletion effects, which is great. Salamon, one of my main targets here. Pop my own Salamon. Or say I swing with the Salamon at security, it doesn't die. I got a security check, that's pretty awesome. Well, I want to pop the Salamon now to get the Deathclaw. So yeah, Deathclaw to pop your own Salamon, really good stuff. If you need to pop your own Tapirmon, you get that draw value, okay? If your Demimeramon is underneath any of these rookies, you get value off of that draw power, okay? Any other on-deletion effects, I would prefer not to pop a Wizardmon, but I will throw it out there. You can pop a Wizardmon to get that draw, as well as a level 4 or lower Digimon. So you're going to be killing your opponent's blockers, which is also really, really amazing. 1 memory to destroy an opponent's blocker. Wow. Okay, let's think about that. Going back to other cards that are all about that. Skull Greymon from 1.0, 7 memory to play that guy. 7 memory to pop 1 blocker. Deathclaw does that for 1 memory cost, as well as potentially getting more value off of it with this the Salamon here. But again, you're getting value off of several different things. So yeah, three of them. I went solid on that. I felt good about that. I think 4 might be a little too cloggy. 4 of anything can be potentially cloggy unless it's a linchpin kind of thing, a main point of your strategy, like Mastimon. You gotta have 4 Mastimon. It's our only Mega in the deck. If you want to draw into a Mega, you gotta get into your Mastimon. So you need to run 4 copies of it. Deathclaw is not that important. It's nice. It's got some great potential, but it's not a must-have in your hand. So 3 of on that one. And then lastly, I can't not have some sort of removal. I feel like Trump Sword, just great card. I didn't want to go with 4 because 4 can get really cloggy. I mean, I don't even run 4 Gaia Force whenever I play red, just because there's plenty of times where I'll have 2 sitting in my hand, and I'm like, I really wish that was something else I had drawn into and not a second Gaia Force, or heaven forbid a 3rd one. So having it as 3 of, I still have a good potential to have it in security, which is great. Anytime you can have trigger Trump Sword in security is awesome. We have enough recovery that we can potentially even put 1 back into security, so it just increases our likelihood of having a Trump Sword in security, just mathematically, as well as just having removal in your hand. 1 Trump Sword. I don't know how many games I've played against purple players where I'm like, oh man, you got Trump Sword, that's it, that's game, you got this. And they're like, yeah, I don't play Trump Sword in this deck. And I'm like, what purple player doesn't play Trump Sword, at least at a 2 of? I mean, something. This deck has crazy draw power. I said it early on. You have such crazy draw power that you can have these skewed numbers where your ratios are a little bit off, just because your draw power is absolutely insane, that you can have low counts. I could run 2 Trump Swords if I wanted, and not feel too bad about it. I just went at 3 of, just because I like to see it trigger in security. At 3, it'll probably trigger at security, at least at some point. So yeah, that's why I just like that ratio a little bit better than the two of. At the two of, I have a good likelihood at least of drawing into it once during the game, and that's when you just need that one big play that just pop whatever. Sometimes people won't risk their level 6s. They won't swing them into security because they have a level 7 that they need to digivolve into to clear something. And that's the time to jump with Trump Sword, because Trump Sword on top of those plays is like crucial. Because I've done it plenty of times where it's like, I'm not attacking with my level 6 because if it dies in security, I lose. So I'm just going to go ahead and digivolve my level 7 right now on top of that level 6 while it's still unsuspended. Against purple, it's scary. But I mean, it's just as scary to leave it suspended because all the retaliation that you have to deal with in purple, like with the Devimons, the regular Devimons. In our case, Wizardmon. But yeah, so that's going to be the total deck there. Just really fun, really interesting. I did have one card left that I did not use. Like I said, I was at 48. I went ahead and bumped the Skullmeramon up by 1 to put us at 49. But literally any of these 3 ofs, you can go, or 2 ofs, the Lucimon, you go ahead and bump those numbers up very, very easily. Whatever you feel like is the better card in this deck to bump up one more. I mean, there's plenty of, I left plenty of space open so that way you could pick whatever you feel is the most valuable to go ahead and bump up by one more. But like the deck already felt so solid that I didn't feel like I absolutely had to do that. So I figured I'd leave it up to like personal preference for players, whatever you feel like you're more comfortable with needing more of. Just go ahead and add in one more copy of one of those, and that is the total deck. I hope you guys like it. I hope you don't hate on me too much. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy this type of content, I try to put it out as much as possible, so definitely subscribe. Also, if you really enjoyed the content, check out my Patreon. I have a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server, as well as if you're a Dragon Village M fan, account takeovers where I help you out with your account. If you're a Digimon fan, I've got monthly giveaway, well, not even giveaways, I've got monthly merch that's specific to Patreon. Stuff like memory counters, custom made. This is the baby form of Vmon here. There's going to be more in the works also. So lots of memory counters, all kinds of awesome Digimon merch. So definitely check out that tier. And if you're just all out crazy, there's other tiers if you're that dedicated. As well as check out my Teespring. I've got awesome merch there. You know, official Battle Ready Ink merch. Awesome phone cases for you Digimon fans out there. They've got them for iPhones as well as Samsungs. So they are super sweet. If you've seen the last Digimon movie, that's where these are from. I had a friend of mine custom make these so that way they fit perfectly on these phone cases. They look super good. So definitely check those out. But at the end of the day, if you can't do any of that, just like I said, like the video. That helps a ton. And subscribe. It doesn't hurt, but it helps me. So that's what's the real benefit. And as always, I'll see you next time.